This afternoon on Pit Lane Parlay, I am joined by Natalie Decker driving the 23 Our Motorsports Manson Brothers brand new horror movie special car, which is behind on the screen right now and looks awesome. I haven't watched. I have the movie in my email. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I did see the trailer. And guys, I'm pretty excited. Everybody teases me on the show because I am a horror movie geek.
All right.
I scour Netflix for any, no matter how bad it is. I'll scour Netflix for some ridiculous horror movie to watch. Um, so I guess Natalie, we'll start with you. How did this opportunity to come up on your end?
Well, we have a mutual friend, and his name is Todd, and he called us one day and was like, "Hey, look, there's this movie. It's gonna be so perfect. You're racing Halloween weekend." And once he gave me the whole rundown of what everything was gonna be like and what it was all about, I was like, I'm in. I have to be in. This is so cool. And I mean, I'm wearing my race suit right now, and you can see the car behind us. I mean, it all turned out so amazing.
The race suit, the t-shirts that you guys have on look fantastic. The car looks awesome. I've seen pictures online, and Chris and Mike, from your point of view, how did approaching Natalie go, and what's the process been like so far?
Well, it came to us a little bit differently than it came to Natalie. We were at our premiere in Chicago, and Todd, who Natalie referenced, we were sitting in a bar, and it kind of came out as one of those cocktail napkin ideas. And as soon as we ran it through the paces, it was like, this is absolutely perfect. It's Halloween weekend. We feel like it's a big chunk of our audience. Mike and I are both, dads of daughters, and we've got so much respect for somebody like Natalie, who's taken over a male-dominated sport. It's just really exciting for both of us. I couldn't be more proud to be affiliated with it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's really an honor, and she's a really inspiring person, and to be around her. So it's just really an honor to be involved with the whole thing. So I'm glad you said bad, no matter how bad they are. Watch them how bad they are.
There are some horror movies on Netflix that you watch and you're like, why did this get made? It's just
I say that all the time.
I mean, you could say that about any type of movie, but I skip most movies and I go down that horror rabbit hole on Netflix, and that's what I fall asleep to: horror movies and heavy metal. And
there you go. Well, horror movies, heavy metal, NASCAR, pro wrestling.
That's right. Here we come.
It's Americana.
Yeah.
It's peanut butter and chocolate.
This is a perfect combination. So, man, all right. Let's talk about the movie real quick. Chris and Mike, how did the idea come up for it, and how hard is it to make a movie?
It's excruciatingly hard. And it's excruciatingly hard to have it come out and then be pushing it. Each process it's all a bunch of different processes that come together. So we started writing it back in 2014 on a whim. We had an idea, and we thought that we could meld our professional wrestling background with the zombie genre and make it a little bit different. So we did that. We tried to get it made for about 5 years until we hooked up with our producer, Mike Haggerty, and Mac Martini, our director. And they kind of believed in us and believed in the project and got the right people involved. And we made it in 2019. And right when we were getting ready to release it, the pandemic hit. And oddly enough, our movie is about a pandemic. So exploiting the pandemic. But the truth of the matter is the movie was done way before the coronavirus hit or anything like that. So it was just a dumb coincidence.
In spite of all the difficulties, though, I think we've really been able to capitalize on a few of them. And like this opportunity in particular, we would have never had it have not released when it did and had all this lined up. So it feels a little bit fortuitous for us. Yeah. And hopefully, again, reaching some different markets and being involved is, I think it's really going to help boost, the film's outreach and that kind of thing. And again, being associated with Natalie, who's like, Miss Social Media too. Yeah. Escape us. So it's just, it's a great fit for us.
If I knew what fortuitous meant, I would probably agree with them. But I'm just going to say it was a good good situation that came together.
There
Is
you
that
go.
what I mean?
Same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll take it. Yeah, I try not to use big words on the show too, because sometimes I end up confusing myself. So, yeah, I totally get it. But Natalie, you're racing at Martinsville this weekend, one of the most iconic tracks, Xfinity, one of I think, the most competitive NASCAR level right now. So, how do you prepare for such a daunting weekend ahead of you?
Yeah, and they take away practice and qualifying.
Yeah.
COVID, so it's a lot different how we prepare for the race now than we did a couple years ago. Lots of sim time. I have a sim at my house. I've been practicing on Martinsville. We can simulate races, and I've raced there a couple times in the trucks. I've done 2 races there in the past, so I have a couple laps and experience already there. That's very helpful. And I just have a great team behind me, like just my Natalie Decker team, my new team sitting right here. I mean, everyone is so supportive and they want the best for me. And that really makes me feel comfortable going into the race, that I just have all that support. But the most important thing is just getting seat time and laps. And I have a little bit of that there, but all I can do right now is get on the sim and practice.
Is it hard, this year and last year to go from, okay, you have, a couple practices, qualifying and a race, to now some places that either you've never been before or never been in an Xfinity car before, you're just jumping in and racing? Like how difficult is that, both on the track, but also mentally getting prepared for a weekend?
There's definitely pros and cons. Having practice and qualifying, that can put a lot of pressure on drivers. So having to just go right into the race and skip over all of that, you can skip that and the nerves of having to practice and qualify and be fast right away and going right into the race and just getting right into the zone. Sometimes that's really nice, but when it's a new track or a new car, new crew chief, new spotter, when all of that's getting put into the play, that makes it more difficult because you want to make sure everybody's comfortable with each other and you're all working good together,
right,
and you're communicating properly. But I mean, overall, just that we're going to the racetrack to race, even though we can't have practice, I'm just still excited.
Yeah, totally fair. Martinsville is one of my favorite NASCAR tracks to watch. Okay, I have a zombie related question for you. This comes from co-host Shannon, who couldn't make it on here, but let me see. Let me find the question here. I wrote it down, and naturally, now that I wrote it down, okay, here we go. What would your weapon of choice be in a zombie apocalypse?
My weapon of choice?
Yes. We'll open it. Oh, okay. And now the same question for you guys.
Catch me if I'm in the race car. But we'll cross that bridge when that happens.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't. I don't want to be too realistic here.
Mikey.
What's
yours?
I would want a shotgun with exploding rounds where the rounds never run out.
Okay. All right. I'll take it.
Natalie stole my answer because I wanted this badass car too.
Yeah.
To run away, I wanted to be able to drive through all the zombies with it and watch them, scatter everywhere. I'm going to say an enchanted wrestling mask that gave me some good luck against anything. Yes. That would be my answer. So
yeah. I like that idea too.
I like it. I like all of those. Have you guys gotten to drive or be a passenger in the car, pace car, or anything like that yet? Or is that going to happen this weekend?
It's absolutely not.
I drove up here really fast when we came up to the shop.
Really
I think that's about the closest I'm probably going to get.
He put it 2 miles over the limit.
I got to tell you, I would be scared beyond. I can't even imagine to drive as fast as this young lady drives in a car. So
yeah,
I have no idea how she does it.
I don't know how she does it.
I'd be absolutely petrified.
The most impressive thing I can think of, because to go 200 miles an hour in anything would
Yeah, that's why I cover it and don't drive it, because I know I wouldn't be that good. So
well, maybe we can do a ride along in the future.
I might.
If you can set it up, I'll as long as you kind of just take it easy.
Governor it a little bit.
No. See, she's gonna get us in there and whip us all over the place.
What you need to do is go to a place like Road America or like a street circuit and really just whip it around those corners and give them like get like a GoPro like on mounted on one of the beams so they can.
Like,
I'll be screaming like a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah.
later on, you'll see us with the neck collars.
Yeah.
And,
Nothing against 14-year-old girls out there, but
yeah. Totally fair. I think that's a great idea. We will hopefully Natalie can make that happen in the future. But let me see here. So obviously you've teamed up with Natalie. What's what's it like working with Natalie? What's something maybe you didn't expect about working with Natalie and in the NASCAR scene?
I heard just her enthusiasm in general is infectious. It's like she really wants to do. I have no doubt she's going to crush this race. I mean, you can just tell like she's ready she's just crackling with, victorious energy.
I can tell from here.
Yeah,
oh man,
it's really infectious.
For me, I'm not amazed. Like I'm not surprised, but it's amazing how great of an interview she is. We've been with her for years and years and years in the wrestling scene, and when we go on these interviews, she's just like right there with the whole thing. So she, in addition to being a great driver, she's a great interviewer. She should do many more.
maybe I can be an actor one day.
Oh.
All right. You literally almost stole my next question word for word in, when are we going to see the Natalie Decker, when are we going to see Natalie Decker in a zombie apocalypse movie?
You may see her in the next Manson Brothers movie,
Yes.
which has to do with vampires.
It's vampires.
Yes.
So
Okay.
That is a strong.
we're in negotiations with her right now to see if she'll lower her standards.
She's like, well, first I want all my M&Ms can only be red. And I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. She's not like.
I mean, for a vampire movie, that would make sense.
Oh, right. It
Would
would make
make
perfect
sense,
sense.
Absolutely, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Until the end, and they said that's not an option.
We kill everybody in our movie.
Yeah. That makes sense. I understand her point, but I also understand, you probably are not going to make it through the end of the movie there if it's a Manson Brothers movie.
I feel much better about it. Trust me. Don't worry.
Yeah. You just have to make it more epic than maybe some of the other characters, so it's more fun.
Oh,
For
yeah.
sure.
For sure.
No doubt about it.
Oh, it'll be a blast.
All right, so I have one more for each of you guys, and I'll start with you, Chris and Mike. What's it like making a horror movie, especially a zombie movie? Obviously, you made it pre-pandemic, but how much fun is it?
Well, so the actual filming process is beyond fun.
Yeah.
Everything else, absolutely horrible. With the exception of the promotional stuff like this that we get to do. I mean, this is beyond enjoyable. I mean, I've been glowing and floating around this place the whole day today. The parts about it that are great, and like any other job, the parts about it that suck really suck.
If you ever meet an actor that complains about making a movie, they should be in another business.
Yeah.
But he's right. The making of the movie is especially when you have a great group of people both in front of and behind the camera, it is absolutely a blast and a half. All the things that come along with it, which is, trying to get it sold and made and running over budgets and this, that, and the other thing. That's not fun, but it's an unfortunate, part of the business that you have to do. So you just try and kind of roll with the punches, but that makes doing this stuff a lot more rewarding. Hey, we got through all that nonsense and now we get to do this awesome stuff. Like how awesome is this that we're involved with not only a NASCAR race, but we're involved with her. I mean, she's awesome. It's really beyond cool.
First off, I love the enthusiasm, but I from my perspective, I completely agree because doing interviews like this is so much fun, especially when it combines racing and horror movies and Halloween and like all that stuff is so much fun. But the behind the scenes stuff, like when I have to edit, I hate editing. I mean, I enjoy it, but it's also very time consuming. So it's, at the end of the day, you're like, I really don't want to do this. But
you do that in movies too. Like when you're shooting something, you're shooting it 9-10 times, sometimes more, depending on who's screwing it up and who the director is. So that can kind of get tedious, if I'm forgetting my lines or whatever. But
which happens all the time.
Which happens all the time.
I understand.
I won't ever forget a line.
The bad part is when you ask Natalie the racing part of this, she has to turn around and then the really crappy stuff is I have to deal with these guys on the off time. So
I feel like it's very same with racing. Like, you know, all of this media stuff is fun. Driving the car is fun. I even enjoy the business side of racing, but I mean, it can get stressful sometimes when you got to meet deadlines and
stressful. You're being hurtled down a track
no,
in a 200 mile an hour.
That's the easy part for her, man. That's the part she likes.
Yeah, that.
But when you're flying in from Italy and it's a day late, that's scary. That's stressful. That's stressful.
I could see where that might. Yeah, that's way less stressful than like going hell bent for election in a giant tin can that's like almost going the speed of sound. And if you hesitate or make one wrong move for a half a second, it could total the car. Yeah, you're right. Missing the suit's a lot more stressful.
I see.
You're crazy.
I listen, I'm going to stay neutral on this one because, well, it's probably better that I do, but yeah, I understand. Listen, I have no room to talk because my biggest stress is my computer going to work. So like, I have no room to talk, or it's like, did my computer restart in the middle of editing, which does happen, but you know, again, really not that stressful.
Right there.
Yeah. That's like that is a horror movie. See, I agree with you about the suit now. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for, to bring some levity. Last question, Natalie, you've had, you know, a improved season this year, and you're getting more seat time year after year. So, you know, and I know 2022 is still a ways away in the racing world, but has 2022 plans started? And when do you think you'll be able to tell people, hey, this is what I'm doing next year?
We've always been working towards the next year and the next year. And that's like every moment we're always thinking about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
We have some things in the works. We don't know exactly how my schedule is going to look and what's going to happen next year, but I definitely want to race in NASCAR. I love the Trans Am series that I race with Tony Avi. So road
Those are
racing,
fun.
NASCAR, I'm all in. Hopefully we get stuff going and we can have a schedule out soon. And then recently I started a super late model team, and we were just in Wisconsin racing a super late model. And hopefully next year you'll see a lot more of that too.
Awesome. And you're good friends with Travis Braden and his girlfriend, correct?
Yeah. So I got the whole team together, and my boyfriend Derek, who I met racing, he sacrificed so much for me to make my dreams come true in NASCAR, and we really wanted to give him a fun weekend. So Travis came out and crew chiefed, and Derek raced, and then Jess pretty much managed the whole thing, and it was great. So hopefully we can do a lot more of that, and maybe I can get in the car, Travis can get in the car, and you never know, maybe Jess will get in it.
Listen, that would be a fun little kind of practice race. Get Jess in the car. I see her getting, you know, doing on the iRacing and all that, and they've been on the show a couple of times, and they're some of my favorite people to talk to because they're always hilarious.
They're amazing. They're such wonderful people for the sport.
I agree. Well,
now we don't want to be involved with her. Look how inspirational.
Yeah, I
picking what she wants to do, and then she's going out there and crushing it. I mean, that's the dream, right? And you make it. Don't sit around and wait for dreams. Hello, your dream is here. It doesn't work. You have to get your dream in your head and then work your ass off to make it a reality. And that's what she's doing. And for us, it's totally inspirational. How could you not love it?
I agree. I always love when I leave an interview and I'm like pumped up to do work. And that's exactly how I feel right now. So, guys, thank you so much for the time. I'll have this out probably Saturday morning. We'll have it out for Halloween weekend.
Awesome.
I'll tag everybody on social media. Thank you for the time. And Natalie, good luck. Guys, good luck with the movie. And, you know, let's talk again soon.
Sounds great. So we like the film.
She's going to take the race, by the way. I'm just telling you.
All right, guys.
See you.